Yo, yo. Welcome back to another live. What's up, everybody? What's up, people? I wasn't on yesterday, and I guess nobody's on quite yet, so we're gonna wait until people are on. Then we're maybe just gonna do some ASMR. Okay, so um, I was off of live yesterday because it was my son's last day of kindergarten. He graduated from kindergarten. So had to do some stuff for that. You know, had to celebrate him, had to put him in a cap and gown. Whoa. We're going to wait until people get on live to talk a little bit more. If you're in this video, if you're watching right now, put a W in the chat. Like I've said a million times, YouTube and this app and this program that I use doesn't really let me know what's going on with people or what's going on with the viewership. So put a W in the chat if you are in the live. Put a W in the chat. I think something that I might start doing is playing guitar on live. Not really, I'm just kidding. I just saw my guitar over there. I was playing it for like a good 45 minutes the other day. Reminded me of all the things that I love to do. Summer is in full swing now for most of my athletes, which is crazy because that means that my session times with my athletes are just so much different now. But yeah, it's crazy because now my schedule completely flips and I'm going to be going live at a later time, not 3 p.m. Probably like 1:30, 2 p.m. Something like that is where I'm going to start going live. Yeah. We'll see how that goes. See how it goes. I used to go live like back in the fall. Last fall I would go live at I'd go live at like 8, 9 p.m. and stay on till like 10 or 11. And I found that to be pretty good, just not like super sustainable. Because I have an actual career, right? Or not a career. I don't have a career. I have an actual business that needs to be run. And I can't run a business that I have to be up early at. I used to be, right? You guys, this wasn't plugged in this entire time. This is not plugged in. I gotta shut this door. I'm alone with the kids today, which is pretty sweet. I am alone with the kids today. which is pretty sweet. We're just waiting for people to hop on live, and then we'll get the show on the road. We'll get the show started. Today I want to talk about a specific experience that one of my old clients had. Yeah. So we'll just wait a minute. So we're just waiting for people to pop in, and then I'm going to start talking about what the issue is. Plug this thing in for later. All right. What doctors have wrong about POTS syndrome? I want to read you guys a specific experience from a client, an old client, that she posted in the POTS community that we have. So I'm trying to get this window all figured out. Give me 1 second. All right. So she writes in our POTS community, and this is the only reason why I'm actually talking about it on live is because she put in the POTS community. She first texted me asking me about this, asking me my opinion, and then she put in our POTS community, link in description, free 2 weeks. She put in the community this issue that she had with a doctor. So the story goes, hey y'all, today I had my follow-up appointment that I scheduled a year ago with my POTS doctor. Boy, it was a frustrating appointment. I was telling him how I am physically better by jogging on the treadmill, riding the bike, and going on hikes. He basically told me that jogging and walking is not the best exercise for POTS due to it being more exhausting for POTS patients. I asked why, and he gave the gravity and blood pooling speech. He said that the best exercise I can do is bike riding or rowing. I had to ask if rowing was acceptable. He suggested this to me because he doesn't want me to crash, even though I mentioned I am handling it well. Then he gave me the snarky, if you really want to walk and jog, you can do that for fun, but incorporate more sitting exercises. It was really hard to remain polite that appointment, but I did it. This makes me so mad because how do people with POTS get better if we don't adjust to working out standing up? Getting those steps in the day is super important. So yeah, if your doctor says this and you are perfectly willing to try walking and jogging, screw them because you know what you can handle, LOL. However, I do understand a lot of people with POTS have difficulty being upright. What he said to me makes sense for those people. So I hope you all don't take my rant in a bad way. Thanks for letting me rant about this. All right, so I've done lives before about like doctors and why I don't think that they're really at fault, and you know what I think that I think it's a system issue versus the doctor's issue. But this is clear evidence of some doctors just being terrible. This story, like really that night, she texted me this around like 8:30 p.m., 9 o'clock at night. And I was fuming. When I tell you that I was very upset, my girlfriend's a PA. She's a PA in the hospital. So she takes care of sick people. You know, she's a physician. She's basically a doctor, right? She's basically a doctor. And so I'm reading this and then I tell her about it. And she was like, this doctor is an idiot. And this guy is a POTS specialist, right? POTS specialist. I'm assuming. That's what I think. She said it's her POTS doctor. And so Dr. Sanjay Gupta, no way. Okay, cool. So anyway, my girlfriend even was like, this doctor is stupid. Like okay, let me restart because I'm getting flustered. I'm getting upset. I'm getting mad. Okay. The reason why this pissed me off so much is because doctors have zero training in exercise phys. They don't know how to make exercise programs, no kinesiology. They have no strength and conditioning background. They don't know dick about exercise, reconditioning, conditioning in general. And it seems that they don't even understand really what deconditioning is actually a product of. If this client, this old client of mine, started in a wheelchair, okay? When we first started working together, she was in a wheelchair. She wasn't very mobile, all right? And we got her to the point where she was walking around. She actually has like run a mile basically. She's basically fully functioning. Does she have like flare up or not flare ups, but does she have some symptoms still and stuff like that? I'm assuming so. Yeah, we don't work together one-on-one anymore, but she is in the community, right? But she's a lot better. And what drives me nuts about what her doctor told her is that she's functioning way better now, but he's telling her to regress. He's telling her you need to regress. Basically what he's saying is like, you shouldn't be this good. Stop being this good. Stop being better. Stop it. And what is so interesting to me is that he's telling her to stop running and jogging and walking and whatever and hiking because she's upright, and it's better for POTS people to be working out prone or seated or whatever. What's interesting about that is he clearly doesn't understand what conditioning means or reconditioning means. Because if she's gotten to the point where she's able to stand up and walk around and run, jog, whatever, She's reconditioned, my guy. So if she goes back down to just doing prone or seated exercises, guess what happens? She'll get deconditioned. So why would you tell somebody, this is just, it's such a stupid argument. Why would you tell somebody who can handle what they're doing? They're able to handle this now. Why would you tell them to stop being able to handle that? This dude is literally telling her to stop being conditioned, and it fires me up. It gets me so upset. And you know, I was talking to my girlfriend about this, right? Because she is a medical professional. She really does deal with this stuff. She prescribes medicines. She, you know, does all the things. And what's sad is, for people with POTS specifically, right? Doctors don't, they prescribe medications, and then they tell you to get on your way. And they prescribe you lifestyle factors, right? Like you should exercise and, you know, make sure you're staying somewhat active. You should exercise and you should, And you should drink more fluids and eat more salt, right? But they don't tell you how. They don't tell you what. They don't tell you how much. They don't tell you when. They don't tell you any of these things. And it's because they don't know. They have no idea. But then when somebody is making progress that doesn't make sense to them, that they maybe haven't seen, they're like, this doesn't make sense. I haven't seen this before. Stop. So now, if she would actually stop and she would go back down to, I mean, this isn't even just exclusive to POTS. If you're a person who exercises at a high intensity and you stop exercising at that high intensity, your body makes adaptations and will stop being able to express itself in that way and will stop handling the loads and the demands that you put on it. That's just basic physiology. That's basic exercise physiology. Like exercise phys 101, adaptations. Your body makes adaptations, forward or back. Forward or back. It's not just your body only makes adaptations going forward. It also regresses. I don't even know if I'm sticking to a clear path here. I'm actually so genuinely upset by what this doctor said to her. It makes me so mad. And again, it may not be, and I don't think it is, like ill intent or ill intended, but it is the fact that like there's clear evidence to show, like she came into the doctor. There's clear evidence to show that she's doing much better. And because you've never seen it happen this way, or because you've never been able to get somebody to this point or whatever, stop doing it. Go back. It's crazy to me. And it's almost as if this guy doesn't even understand. I don't know. It gets me so mad and fired up. It gets me so mad and fired up. Because the thing is too, right, is that I would be willing to go toe to toe with a lot of these doctors and say, and just take a look at our rap sheets of people that we've helped with POTS. And of course, I can't prescribe medication. So the only thing that I can do is help in the way that I know to help. And that is lifestyle intervention, diet intervention, hydration, and exercise, right? Those are the things that I can do for sure, that I can help with, right? And I would still be willing to go toe to toe with some of these docs and be like, let's look at how many people that you have gotten to normal life, to regular life. And then let's look at how many people that I've gotten to regular life and normal life and that haven't crashed and haven't regressed or anything like that. And let's just see if the theories match up. Let's just see what happens. You know, like it's just so upsetting to me that because doctors don't understand exercise and conditioning and how the body makes adaptations in this way, that they would tell somebody to stop doing something. Especially when, if it improves your quality of life, if it makes you happier, if it's making you more fit, if you haven't had issues with it, why would you stop? Why? It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Especially if you are an autonomic like specialist, right? Like if you understand the autonomic nervous system and you're telling people to regress from what they've been doing, it's crazy to me. I'm not even sure that there's evidence out there in the form of like a research study that would say that once you have, like, we don't even really know, there's no biomarkers to measure when a person clears POTS or when a person is fully, recovered from POTS, we don't even know how to measure like good POTS, bad POTS, medium POTS, or any stuff like that. But if there's objective measure points, right, where this person was in a wheelchair, she was in a wheelchair, and now she's running, do you really think that you should tell her to stop doing what she's doing? Obviously, something is working. What? And it's going to be the same whether the person has POTS or not, is that it's going to be the same whether the person has POTS or not, right? That you just always listen to your body and make sure that you don't overdo it. That's not exclusive to POTS. But if running, a half mile in intervals isn't messing with her, it's not making her feel like she's crashing out or whatever, why stop? Why stop? Now, of course, everything needs to be progressive, right? But at some point, at some times, even with POTS, I've found this, right? People who exercise at a high level, right? Or people who are like extremely fit, like we have to test our limits at some point to see where the barrier is, right? That's the same with POTS. You're never going to know what is too much if you don't get at least this close to it. I've had so many people with POTS that I've pushed to the edge, pushed to the limit, and they're fine because we've worked them up to that point where they have the ability to go to failure or past failure on stuff because you have built the resiliency to get there. It's not just something that happens overnight. That's the other thing with this doctor, the thing that he's saying. It almost seems as though he's like acting as if this happened, like this was a one-day thing where one day she was like in a wheelchair and then she decided to run a mile the next day. It's like, dude, how dense can you be? I mean, it's like, really, how freaking dense can you be to be telling somebody that, they've been able to progress themselves to a certain point and then you're telling them to stop because you don't know, because you don't have the information. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. So this is clear negligence from like a doctor, right? It's clear negligence. Some doctors just like so badly want to be right. I mean, I won't say doctors, that's humans. Some humans just so badly want to be right. And they whatever they have seen or experienced in their life has to be what everyone else goes by, right? Like this doctor has never seen somebody with POTS that has been able to, this doctor has probably never seen somebody with POTS like me that is doing bar muscle ups, ring muscle ups, competing in CrossFit competitions in Florida in the dead of freaking September or August. They would probably tell me to slow it down. But to me, it's like, I'm not going to slow it down because I've worked my way up to this point. It's not something that I just decided, I was laying in bed one day, I had POTS, and then the next day I signed up for a competition in Florida in 100-degree weather, and I just went for it. It's not like that. These doctors don't understand progressive protocols, progressive exercise models, and stuff like that, where you get reconditioned. Everybody goes through deconditioning, by the way. This isn't exclusive to POTS. The difference between deconditioning with POTS and deconditioning with a person who's not chronically sick or chronically ill is that there's the extreme fatigue associated for the people with POTS. And deconditioning doesn't just mean, lack of conditioning in exercise format with POTS. It also means that like positional, like positions are off. Like you get dizzy standing up or you can't stand for very long. That like it's extreme deconditioning. But deconditioning isn't just exclusive to POTS, and I don't know why we treat it like that. Deconditioning is deconditioning, and it may be worse for people with POTS. There may be more symptoms associated. There may be worse outcomes from it, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't treat it the same way. That doesn't mean that you can't treat it the same way, matter of fact. And now herein lies part of what I think is wrong with the system for people with POTS, right? Is that what's wrong with the system is that they don't have education on all these things that doctors should probably be well educated on. Doctors should probably be well educated on nutrition and vitamin therapies. Doctors should probably be well educated on exercise physiology and kinesiology. Those are probably things that doctors should be required to have in their training, that should be required to have in their education, because stuff like this happens otherwise, where a doctor is telling you when you were in a wheelchair a year ago and now you're running, no, something's off. Stop running. Don't run. Don't walk that much. Stick to biking, stick to rowing. This is exactly why, because doctors literally do not know the first thing about exercise science, exercise physiology. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. So therein lies another problem with the system. We talked about before that a big problem with the medical system is that doctors only have so much time with you. So they push in, push out. They give you pills. They give you general recommendations. They don't really do much, right? The other issue is that they just don't have the tools necessary via education to treat things in certain ways. They just don't. It's just plain and simple like that. Like, I do truly believe, because there's so much research now on exercise and diet intervention and how much of an impact that they really do have on your life and lifestyle factors, right? Like a lot of people with insomnia and stuff, they get prescribed even like antipsychotics, like off-label use or whatever, so that they can fall asleep, but they're not having real sleep. If they would just take some time to go stand in the sun, view the sun, and it doesn't happen overnight, but connect their feet to the earth in the morning at like sunrise, and then if they would like make sure that they do all the things before bed, view the sunlight before bed, do the same thing where you connect your feet to the earth and stuff like that. Dude, I've helped so many people get better circadian clocks, get better sleep cycles just by doing simple lifestyle intervention stuff. But these doctors don't have any training on this stuff. The only thing that they're trained to do is pimp pharmaceutical medication. And by the way, they're incentivized to do that as well, because farm reps come in and they bring lunch for the entire office and they're like, hey, sign this, blah, blah, blah. Some doctors get kickbacks from pharmaceutical medications, stuff like that. It's insanity. And these doctors don't know anything about lifestyle intervention. And there's so much research, as I was saying before, that, lifestyle factors do so much for your health and well-being. Of course, pharmaceuticals are there for the acute cases that you need help right now, because pharmaceuticals, whether we like it or not, do save lives. They absolutely do. But things like depression, they've shown, like a Harvard research study came out about exercise being more effective. I think it was Harvard, or maybe it was out of Australia. I forget where it was. But then that exercise, intense exercise, has better and longer lasting effects on mental health than antidepressants do. We've seen stuff on mitochondrial health being studied now, and certain diet lifestyle interventions helping out with depression and mental illness, schizophrenia, stuff like that. But dude, these doctors just aren't required to stay up to date with the current data. That's what I've brought up so many issues. That's what one of these other issues, another leading issue is they're not required to keep up with current data in most cases. There's two job descriptions or two job titles that blow my mind, with the training that's required and the continued education that's required, right? And the two things are the police force and doctors in the medical industry. Hold on one second. I gotta take this hoodie off. It is freaking hot in here. Medicine and law enforcement are the two that give me freaking the goose pimples, right? About how freaking crazy the lack of training is and the lack of continued education. They are the two industries, I'll call them, the two job titles that are crazy to me. I had a friend who's a state trooper tell me that we were talking back in the day. This is a long time ago. We were talking back in the day about what they have to do in order to like keep their job title, basically, right? To continue being law enforcement, to continue being a cop, a state patrol. And the dude told me, I was like, so how, because this was like amidst, I think this was like George Floyd, like around that time. Maybe it was before. Regardless of the fact, that's not very important. What he told me was that they have to have a 60% accuracy rate, or 40, between 40 and 60, I forget what it was, accuracy rate of shooting at a target. Once you pass the fitness test in the very beginning of the academy, you never have to pass it again. There's no fitness standards for cops. There's no martial arts standard for cops. There's no self-defense standards for cops. Like, you don't have to do any of these things. If you decide to be in shape as a police officer, that's on you. If you decide to go to jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai as a police officer, that's on you. But none of this is required, which is crazy to me, because the reason why it was so crazy to me, and I told him this, was I was like, bro, no wonder we see all these, like, you guys just like shoot people, right? Like, no wonder. And like, I have very much so changed my mind on law enforcement. I used to be a very big liberal type of person, right? And then I kind of aged up. I kind of did more research. I kind of wisened up a little bit, right? I got more pivot. Like, I grew up in not so great circumstances. I grew up, around certain people. So we'll just keep it at that. I had a certain view on police officers growing up. Let's just say that. Okay. So I had a certain view. My view was skewed. And then I grew up a little bit. I got more educated and some stuff like that. Anyway, so my perspective has changed. However, I do think this. I do think that you see more often than not, you see overweight cops, and they are more prone to shooting because they literally just can't keep up. They literally just can't get the person, right? And if they have reasonable cause or reasonable suspicion and stuff like that, they take advantage of what they can to be able to do what they can. So there's that portion, right? That sounded a little bit bad. I don't think every cop is out for blood, so please just don't take it that way. I think that most are not. You're always going to get some of the bad apples, irregardless of the fact, you guys know what I'm saying. Overweight cops can't get the person. Cops that can't defend themselves probably have to use more massive action, right? It's that simple. I think that there should be standards for cops. I think that every year they should be tested on their fitness. Not every other year, not every 10 years, not every 5 years, every year. I would even venture to say every 6 months, a cop should be tested for that stuff. So now I've made my point about that. Getting into the medical industry, I think that doctors should be held to the standard of keeping up with the current data, keeping up with new science, with longevity science, keeping up with what the new perspectives of things are, and also that exercise education should be part of their CMEs. Nutritional science and nutrition education should be part of their CMEs, but it's not. It's crazy to me. Doctors will tell you, eat a healthy diet. What does that mean? And then they tell you some BS. Eat oatmeal, eat grains, they tell you the standard American diet, basically. It's like, okay, can we take some blood work? Can we see if I'm deficient in anything? Can we take some food sensitivity tests? I don't know. Can we get a gene report done? But just eat healthy. Okay. I don't know. I don't even know what that means. And what if I'm eating salads every day and I feel like crap? Is that healthy for me? Is there no such thing as bioindividuality? Is there no such thing as like some people react differently to different diets? Like, what does a healthy diet mean? And then for people with POTS specifically, doctors will be like, drink more fluids and have more salt. Okay. How much fluids? How much sodium? Is there an equation? How much electrolytes? Like, how much electrolytes besides sodium? Should I be doing potassium, magnesium? If so, what are the quantities and what are the ratios? There's none of that, though. There is none of that. It's wild. Almost done with my coffee about 2.5 hours later. I've been doing Duolingo. Just as a little pause in our stream. I've been doing Duolingo, it's been dope. I'm trying to relearn Spanish. Spanish was my first language. For those of you guys that don't know, I am half Mexican. Spanish was my first language, and then my parents made me stop speaking it when we moved to Wisconsin because they didn't want me to get made fun of in school. How crazy is that? They didn't realize like how useful Spanish could have been to my life. Well, my dad did. My mom definitely did, but they didn't want me to only be speaking Spanish. And then they just like stopped speaking Spanish to me almost totally. Hold on, guys. Kaden, Biz? Kaden? Our kids are like the best kids you could ever ask for. They're amazing. And they are not naughty, but they're so mischievous. I'm alone with them today, which I love. I like to be alone with them. But they sometimes will just like go outside without telling me, which is fine. I think that's normal for kids. They should be doing that. But then I get all like, are they outside? Whatever. I have cameras outside, everything like that, because I'm kind of a freak when it comes to kids. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, right, in this world. So I always like have the cameras outside and stuff. But sometimes they just sneak outside without letting me know. So I had to check on that. Erica, you inspired today's talk. I'm not sure how this works for doctors, but I know for a fact PT, OT, NP, NPAs have to take courses every year on their specialty to keep their license. These courses go into detail, what is current, and hello. Yeah, I know that. So like my girlfriend, she has to do CMEs, but she gets the ability to choose what her CMEs are. So she's a PA, and then for her fellow like doctors or whatever, they get to choose what their CMEs are and actually the same thing with my PT friends. They get to choose like what courses they do. Where I think that there should be like a standard, right? There should be a standard of, thankfully, I've transitioned my girlfriend into liking more of the holistic lifestyle. And like I've shown her a bunch of stuff. And so one of the things that we did was we went to the CrossFit for Health seminar, which is like, it had a bunch of like leading experts in longevity and a bunch of leading experts in like not holistic, but like lifestyle intervention for health, stuff like that. And so that was really good. However, she just got to choose that. It wasn't like a standard that she's held to. And what I'm trying to say is that I think that doctors, PTs, everybody, PAs, OT, you name it, NPs, I think there should be a standard by which they have to be. Like there should be a constant evolution of how we are treating people, rather than like yeah, we know that this pharmaceutical does like like rather than just only being trained in like pharmaceuticals help people, for example. They should be trained in, yeah, pharmaceuticals help people, but hey, there's also this avenue that you can go down as well. Like here's the lifestyle interventions that can take place of this pharmaceutical. They should be trained in that too. And as far as I know, I haven't seen any of that, right? And I've had the pleasure of like going to some of this stuff and hearing a lot about like the training that she has to go to for CMEs. And it just doesn't seem to be that that's the case. You know, it just doesn't seem. Also, it's interesting because a lot of doctors and PAs, they'll buy a textbook for their CMEs. They'll buy a textbook so that they can get their CME and stuff like that, or they'll like go to a conference and then they don't go to the conference. So it's not like the doctors or PAs or any of them are held to like, hey, you went to the conference, here's a multiple choice like type of test that you have to take in order to prove that you know or that you came out with more information. They went to the conference, but they took it more as an opportunity to go to a trip in Arizona or something like that. So a lot of this is like they get CMEs, but they're not really required to prove that they learned anything. You're right, but the pharmaceutical companies kind of control medicine, but glad can inspire a stream. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's 100%. I agree with you. Pharmaceutical companies definitely have a big influence on medicine, partially for good reason, right? Because I think that pharmaceuticals have a place, like they save lives for sure in acute scenarios. But yeah, I think it's tough because pharmaceutical companies are the thing that like, I mean, they fund media, they fund medicine, they fund schools, they fund research and stuff. So it's really hard because there's not going to be like a red light therapy unit that's a $1 billion industry that's going to be able to fund research in the same way. That's going to, that are going to have sales reps go to clinics and be like, hey, let me buy you lunch if you buy this red light therapy, blah, blah. Like they're not going to have the same impact. So it's really hard. Yeah. I think what it's going to require for things to change in that direction, and I'm like definitely not trying to make a worldwide change with this. Like I'm not the guy who's going to start a revolution for this, but what would need to change is people's want to pursue health and longevity in the world of medicine naturally. It would take that. I can't believe it's been 43 minutes already of me just jumbling. Jumbling. I don't know, man. This type of stuff really like gets me fired up. I'm not even kidding. It gets me so just upset, I guess, with the industry and medicine because like, dude, we're talking about like, I mean, like, man, if I could get like esoteric about it, right? We're talking about people's lives and well-being and their time in the human experience, right? And God is all divine and all that, but he also gives us free will. He gives us the ability to overeat, overconsume in any sense, right? So we make choices, but then like it's also like we need the education, and the way like I don't know, the people who are in charge of like medicine and the industries and stuff like that are messing with people's human experience, which is like really bothers me, dude. That's part of the reason why I care so much about like helping people with POTS and coaching people with POTS. And I set up the community. So if you're not a part of the community, go click the link in description. 2 free weeks. You get an exercise program, a bunch of different documents on how to deal with POTS stuff. and food journal, all this stuff. And you get to be part of the community. But that's part of the reason why I care so much about it, is because I want people with POTS who like aren't able to have a great human experience right now to realize you can still have a really good human experience. Like, you're not doomed, right? And what you're experiencing now isn't for the rest of your life, and this can get better. And I want to help people get better so that they can live a full life. That's the point, right? And that's what doctors should be doing too. That's literally what their job should be, is to get people better, not just to manage stuff. Like, I want you guys to be able to manage your symptoms, absolutely, but I want you to get better. I want you to get better. And then if you have to manage your symptoms during the process or whatever, that's different. But I want ultimately that you get better, because I've been there. I've been in the position of like a lot of you guys where it's like, you are at, you're at your wit's end. Like, your hope is down the drain. You just don't know what to do. You don't know if life is ever going to get better. You look in the past and you're so tied up in the past and what you used to be able to do that you're not able to look at the future in any positive light, right? And then you're like, well, what the frick? And then I got myself out of that little stupid hole, of time, and it took a while, but I'm very able to like look at, the course of 7 months is really small in the grand scheme of time. I'm really able to do that. I'm really able to stay disciplined and to put, instant gratification to the side and be able to move forward. But I pulled myself out of that hole, and I want to help other people pull themselves out of the hole and move forward. It's just, yeah. Oh, man. Do I have boogies, dude? Jeez. Kind of. Kinda. I kind of have boogies. I kind of have boogies. I kind of have boogies. Boogies. Thank you, Justin, for being so encouraging. I'm headed off to go for a walk. It's great that you are helping so many people with this debilitating condition. Thanks, Erica. I appreciate that. I'm trying my best here. Trying my best. You have fun on your walk. You have fun on that walk, and you stay upright. So anyway, guys, I'm going to be on here now just chilling. I want to open it up to just dialogue. People be talking. I said all I have to say on doctors and how this system is pissing me off. Yeah. I said all I have to say on that. What is the GoPro thing with the mic called? Media kit? Media mod. The GoPro Media mod, bro. I need this thing. I decided that I'm going to start doing early morning rucks on Saturdays. Yeah. early morning rucks on Saturdays. I need to get my arse out of bed, bro. And I find that in the morning is when I'm like really creative too. I'm very creative in the morning, so I want to like get out, start doing content right away. I want to get out, start doing content. And I think that this would be a good, what's it called, addition to my podcast channel. Making content out and about. You guys, I am starving. I'm not even gonna lie about that right now. I am so freaking hungry. It's freaking, it's rough today. My training, I'll give you guys a little training update. I think I'm gonna start making videos on this again. But I am, what's it called? I'm supposed to, I'm trying to go compete in a High Rocks in November. High Rocks is basically, I'll read it to you guys. If you guys didn't know, I compete in CrossFit. I'm taking the year off right now from competing because I'm taking the year off from competing because I hurt my neck like 3 times this past year. Or 2 times. I hurt my neck. Anyway. So I'm taking a break from CrossFit specifically because there's a lot of handstand push-ups, a lot of handstand walking, a lot of snatching, overhead stuff. So I'm just taking a break. I'm taking my time to build up my strength again and get my fitness back to where it was, become more resilient. And it's really starting to pay off a lot. It's really, really, really starting to pay off. But training right now is getting a little bit more intense because I plan on doing this High Rocks event. Let me read to you guys what High Rocks is so that you know, because this is what I'm doing. So this is the format of a High Rocks race. You ready? It's a 1K run, 1,000-meter ski erg after that 1K run, and then it's a 1K run right after that. It's a 50-meter sled push after that, 1K run, 50-meter sled pull, 1K run, 80-meter burpee broad jump, 1K run, 1,000-meter row, 1K run, 200-meter farmer's carry, 1K run, 100-meter sandbag lunges, 1K run, 100 wall balls. And then you finish with another 1K run. Maybe not. I don't think so. I don't think you finish with another 1K run. But anyway, yeah, so that is the format of the race. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do it for shizzle. I think I just have to make sure that everything is set up for me to do it. So I got to stay healthy. It's in November. It's November 16th. So I got months. It's months away. I just got to stay healthy and got to get, I mean, I'm feeling really fit right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling very, very fit. I'm feeling at the upper echelon of fit. But yeah, I just gotta make sure that I stay healthy for it. It's 8K of running total. I don't know how do you connect that? Hmm. I'm watching a video on how to connect my lav mic to the GoPro Max. Okay, it looks like I need an adapter. Dude, you guys, dude, why? No, I get it. I get it. They just want to maximize profits. I get it. Ugh, I don't like it. It's so stupid. They got like, it's just like they make money off of everything, right? It's like, it's so dumb. This little piece is $50. Like, for what? For what? What am I getting out of that $50? All right, guys. Anyways, I've been on for about an hour. That's all for today. I hope you guys got something out of this. If you did, please like that. Please hit that like button. We got the street cleaners coming by. Yeah, we got the street cleaners. I don't know if you guys can hear that. If you like the video, Please, if you found some, value out of it, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you are new. We're almost to that 1,000 subscriber mark. We're getting excited about it. So yeah, if you guys liked it, please show some love, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye. See you Monday. Monday, 3 p.m., 2:30 p.m., something like that. We're doing later streams now, starting next week. All right, thanks. Bye.